When I do AI consulting, I'm often telling my students how important it is for them to gain control of their relationship with AI. What I mean is that you need to become the master of your relationship with AI instead of the servant. And that's kind of like telling people to work harder. It's sort of vague. And so what I've done is I've come up with this framework that I call Socratic AI. It's based on the Socratic method, and it centers around this idea that AI does not have that much to give you other than synthesizing documents and doing internet searches. The real power of what you're going to create, whether that's content, writing a book, starting a business, is already locked inside of you. And so what you need to do is pull that content out of you and then filter it through AI to get quick outputs like, a contract for your business, a sales page for your business, and that kind of thing. So we're going to go really quick into this Socratic AI method. I'm going to demonstrate how to do it with a simple project, and you'll see the process of going back and forth with getting the AI to ask you questions instead of you asking the AI questions. And then you'll see how we can generate different kinds of documents out of this conversation, like a sales page, an email, a slide deck, all of that stuff. The template for this Socratic AI process is very simple. It requires a goal, a request for questions, and a brain dump. Now, I don't want this to sound too complex. It really, most of the time, is me keeping these things in my head and taking a walk and talking into my phone. And I say, here's my goal. By the way, ask me some questions, and here's the brain dump. So I'm doing this visually, but a lot of this I just do over my phone. It works just as good. So in our case, let's say we're just going to start a fictional business. So let's say I want to start a lawn care business in my hometown of Topeka, Kansas. So my goal is to create a business plan and marketing materials for a lawn care, I'll say a new lawn care business in Topeka, Kansas. All right. Then we're going to say request for questions. So I'm going to say, ask me questions that will help me formulate my business plan and marketing efforts. Now I'm going to give a brain dump. So here I'm going to say, I plan to start the business in 2 months. I don't know if that's important or not. I'm just going to put it in there. I'm putting everything I can think of. This will get captured in the chat, and the questions that I answer are going to be the important thing. So I'm going to type out some more of this stuff here, and then we'll ask for the questions now. So I updated the brain dump a little bit. I said I plan to start the business in order to be ready to start mowing next spring. And then I'm just going to put this here. I could put a lot more, but this will be enough to get ChatGPT started. And you can use any AI to do this. ChatGPT is my favorite all around AI right now. You'll get really good results from Claude and probably from Gemini as well. We'll let it do its thinking. I do recommend you put it on thinking mode so it can really do some time to come up with some good questions for you. So it's giving me a bunch of questions here. One is vision and positioning, services and scope, service area and territories. And you notice how helpful it is. It's already giving me neighborhoods, what I told it about, pricing strategy, equipment and operations, staffing and labor, legal, insurance licenses. And we've got everything that you get from a pretty good consultant coming here. To be honest, when I started this, notice how I was just looking for a business plan and marketing materials. But in order to do a good business plan, I have to think about all these things. And I don't want ChatGPT making up generic answers that I haven't really processed and thought through or committed to. And so that's what this is for. We're going to take all of these and we're going to copy them and we're going to answer each one of them. So you can go and copy them this way if you want. You can also just click this copy here, come down here and paste it. This isn't going to confuse ChatGPT to do this. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start answering it. So I'll remove this piece right here, probably not even necessary. And then I'm going to answer this one at a time. I'll do this off screen, but I'm going to show you the very first one. So what's the business name? Any vibe you want, budget friendly, echo quiet, premium detail. That's a good question. let's say that I want to be on the high end, I want to market to picky customers, I want to be considered premium so that I can charge higher margins. My focus will be on reliability and the ability for a homeowner to ignore their lawn and know that it's being taken care of on a regular basis. But I don't know the name. I don't have a name yet. So I'm going to say, based on the above, think deeply and give me some name suggestions, at least 5. Okay. And that's my first answer. Now look at all these. I have to answer all of these to really even get anywhere. And this is actual work. It's real thinking work. So Socratic AI, it puts the responsibility back on you. Everyone talks about generate a business plan in 30 seconds using AI, but you get generic fluff. You're not going to get a working business. You have to think through these things to get a real business. So I'm going to go through and answer these, and then I'm going to show you once you've answered these, even just one round, and you can do multiple rounds if you want to get even more data captured. I'm going to show you how powerful the results can be once you take that thinking process up front and answer these questions. So I've gone through and answered all the questions, and I just want to show how I did it. So in here, I just give everything I can think about for this business, what my USP is. This is triggering a lot of things in my brain that I didn't really think of in the brain dump, and I knew that would come up in the questions, so I'm answering them here. We're focusing in this business on being stable, good notifications, reliable, and having good systems. And so throughout this, I have some places where I say, please give me suggestions. This is the key. The creativity, the core business is inside of you. Any kind of algorithms, calculations, those type of things should be pushed to the AI. So like exact neighborhoods to target. Well, I've already told you what my USP is. Why don't you help me pick some neighborhoods that I can target? So then I'm giving ideas when I have clarity, but there's a lot of places where I don't. For example, target average ticket for a typical city lot. I have no idea. I've never started a lawn business before. So I say, I don't know, please suggest something that's on the high end in Topeka, but not the highest. So I'm pushing back to the AI to say, hey, this is your job. You're the one that needs to go find out this information for me. So if I know, I answer. If I don't, I push it back to AI. And I go through this. Expect to spend on something like this, especially when you're getting all of that basic information out the first time. It's going to take you a good 20 or 30 minutes. And a lot of times I say, help me formulate based on the above answers. And then I send it. And you can see it's browsing some information on the internet. And then, of course, it gives me something encouraging at the beginning. And then we've got some name ideas. So this is what I asked for. And these are not bad. Gold Standard Mowing. That sounds like a nice local place. And then we have who to target. And then we've got zip code focuses. This is great. So this is everything I asked for. We've got pricing. We're getting out of this what we can call an intermediate anchoring artifact. So all of this kind of brainstorming is in the chat. The AI is still going to be able to find it. But now some decisions have been created, and those have been put into this response. And so now these will have a higher weight later when I say, based on what we've decided. It's going to pick stuff from here that we've decided. Now comes the fun part. We're going to take this idea that I've done all the work on preparing, and then we're going to give it some outputs. So we'll make a initial contract. We'll make a sales page for our website. And then I'm going to make a slideshow presentation that I could give to the homeowners association. We'll do the client contract first. And I say, now based on the above answers and what you know, generate a draft contract that I can use when a client is ready to sign up. That'll be enough. Now, if I really was doing this as a full-on business, I would do Socratic AI again here. So I would say, generate a draft contract and then ask me questions that will help me clarify my thinking. And then sometimes you'll also add a role. So you'll say, ask me questions as if you were a skilled local lawyer. We'll do this first, and that'll give us our first output. The key here is that we're no longer focused on outputs. We're focused on capturing an idea. That's what Socrates is all about. He asked questions over and over until an idea had been refined to its essence. Once you have an idea to its essence with AI, it's super easy to make outputs from that idea. So here we go. We now can generate a legal output pretty easily. And look at that. Notice that even the information that we're putting in about general liability insurance is getting captured in this. All right, so there's our first output, a sales contract. Now we're going to do the website sales page. There's a lot of ways to do this, but what I want to call attention to is that I'm in the same chat. So I already outputted this contract. You can do this in the context of a project, but for this demo, I'm going to keep it in the same chat so all the context is together. And I'm going to say, now generate a sales page for the website for me. Now here's the key. I don't just want a sales page for the website. A lot of people tell me how, oh, I just asked ChatGPT for code and it generated it. And I was like, did it work? And like, well, I don't know how to get it to work. And that's always the problem with AI. You have to tell it what the output format is. In this case, I'm going to say generate a sales page for the website for me. I want to use bolt.new. That's what I'm going to use in this one. It's a website builder. There's a lot of options out there. And then this is a secret that I found where I say, generate a series of super prompts. Don't know why this seems to get better results. Now I'm going to do a little Socratic AI here, not a lot. Sometimes I'm not clear enough. It doesn't know it has legitimate questions. So we have our foundation. We're going to paste this into Bolt. Now, the great thing is you don't have to know what all these things mean. It's just going to work. Then we have copy perfection and visual polish, so it's going to run a second pass. Then we'll make sure it's mobile first, so it works on phones. We've got our SEO going, and then analytics and events. So you put it in here, and then send it. Now I am on a paid version of Bolt, and so I have more tokens, so you may run out of tokens if you try to copy this whole thing by itself. Feel free to either, sign up for a month to get this working or to try something else. This will work with all kinds of website builders. This is the value of Socratic AI is because we've already developed this idea. Note how it says I'm going to build a production-ready marketing site for gold standard mowing with a clean to premium design focused on, it knows it's a premium design, focused on this orange brand color. Now, all I said was I like orange and white. And so all of this idea has been so well captured and refined that it's now getting baked into the core of what we're doing here. So check this out. We've got a website that this is the thing though. Look, all the information is actually correct. We even have the zips that we put in there, but we've got a full website and it's not just generic. It's actually what we put. So let's see if we can get a little bit better with our second pass. Would improve. If I went to a local website and these had actual testimonials on them, I wouldn't think that was bad. We'll add this and see if that improves it a bit more. I'm just going to paste these prompts. I just want you to see that I'm not doing any typing, coding. I'm just pasting in what came out of Socratic AI into my website builder, and I'm automatically getting results. Okay, so now we've got it in mobile. We've got a little navigation menu here. We've got our CTA for instant quote. It gets sticky here. This looks not bad. We can scroll across the different prices. And then we have the form at the bottom. So I'll do this last asset generation prompt. All right, so it got it. The logo's kind of hard to see, and I think it's a check mark of the bloody grass. Not perfect, but something we can go and get in Canva. We did get some kind of cool little icons in here, and we've got a working website that's mobile friendly. We just have to implement this quote form. We haven't really had to do anything other than just ask for the output. So all the work was done up front. And so now we've got the last output, which is a presentation that I could take to homeowners association, businesses, or send via email. So I'm going to come back here. Again, we're staying in the same chat because we want all this context to be in place. I'm going to say, now generate a single super prompt for me that I can paste directly into gamma.app. I could go through the Socratic process again, but here I'm going to say my goal is something that I could present to HOAs. The key is you have to tell it the output that you want. And so we got our super prompt. It's telling it the format and style, the audience, company facts, and all of this is coming from the work that we did in Socratic AI. So we don't have to do it a second and third time. You go to Gamma, I'm going to say paste in text. I'm going to give it right here. And then we're going to say generate. We're going to get 10 cards out of this. And let's see what we get. Okay, so it finished. You can see that it captured basically what we want. This is a little bit of a weird image, but you can regenerate it, you can edit it. And then you have our core selling proposition, the HOA problem that we solve, our systems for reliability. So everything that we already put is coming out in a presentation that we could use. We need to make some edits to this one to really get it to where it'd feel professional. But now we've got the basis. We've got a contract, a website sales page, and a presentation, all just from taking the time to do that Socratic AI at the beginning. So that's how to use Socratic AI to get control of your relationship with AI. Remember, you need to first give it a goal. Then you need to ask it to ask you questions. Optionally, you can tell it the role that it's supposed to play, if that makes sense. And then finally, just brain dump everything that you can and press send. From there, answer the questions and then take that result, possibly ask it for a second set of questions, and do that until you feel like you've refined the idea. Once you have a refined idea, start asking for outputs.